Asajj Ventress. That is who we are going to aim to talk about here on Archives in Motion. Asajj Ventress is a peculiar but wonderful character in the Star Wars universe. Her story is extremely winding like a snake, but is interesting nonetheless. Comparing her story to a snake is a beautiful metaphor because, or should I say, simile, because many people could say she was or is snake-like in the beginning of her story. Her life has been nothing but heartbreaking, even when it arcs towards the light. She was taken from her family at a very young age and pretty much almost sold into slavery. Now, we will be talking about Asajj Ventress and the Disney Plus, the Cartoon Network series, the Clone Wars, not the Samurai Jack style animated series. I do like that animated series, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about the one that was the CGI one that aired on the Cartoon Network first, then Netflix, then Disney Plus. Ventress first appears in season 1, episode 1. She's a capable warrior, but against an accomplished Jedi, she is usually no match. So against like Obi-Wan and Anakin, she tends to show how she's not as powerful as them. In wrestling terms, if you watch wrestling, she's a jobber to the stars. She will mop up the scrubs, but get mopped, like I said, by Obi-Wan. So she'll kill the clones. She'll kill other people, maybe a Padawan or something like that. But she will never, like that way they had her written. She wouldn't defeat an accomplished Jedi, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Mace Windu, Yoda. She couldn't do it. That was left to Sidious and Dooku, and even Darth Maul. But Ventress was more than tough, though, because they wrote her well. Because when she went against Luminar Unduli, you see, Luminar underestimated Ventress. She said that Ventress was undisciplined, had an undisciplined fighting style. Because Ventress was an assassin. What a lot of people don't realize, and if you watch the Clone Wars, you notice that Ventress was actually trained as a Jedi, but then her Jedi master was murdered, and she tapped into the anger and then tapped into the dark side. And then that's pretty much when she connected with Count Dooku. Ventress showed her moxie and guile in that battle with Luminar Unduli, who was Barriss Offee's master. Now, as Asajj Ventress became more powerful, Darth Sidious, who we all know was the Chancellor Palpatine, ordered Dooku to kill her. And this is what sent Ventress on her tragic path. Remember Earlier, I said that she was stolen from her clan as a baby. She saw death at a young age when her Jedi Master was killed, and then she turned to the dark side. I told you that earlier. Even with all her hatred and anger, she was no match for Count Dooku. Count Dooku was an extremely powerful Sith Lord. He may not have been as powerful as Sidious, but he was powerful enough to dispatch Anakin and Obi-Wan at the same time. If y'all remember that in the Clone Wars movie, he cut Anakin's arm off. He had a real disciplined fighting style, really elegant. And remember, he was an older gentleman. He was pretty much elderly, but he was still able to defeat these two younger Jedi. Now, when it came to Yoda, that was a match that he couldn't compete with. But Dooku was very capable of dispatching Asajj Ventress. Now, Ventress's arc became extremely interesting when she leaves the count. She pretty much gets done dirty by the Night Sisters. She's a Night Sister from Dathomir. And it's dysfunctional at best. She pretty much gets used by them and discarded. The way I see it, discarded. Everybody either abandoned her or was murdered in front of her. Even Mother Taliesin was not murdered in front of her, but still defeated in front of her. And it always seems like she can't keep a leg up. She can't just get right. So she goes into being a bounty hunter, and that arc was written beautifully. You got to give it up to Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni has done wonders for the Star Wars universe, and I'm glad Kathleen Kennedy is gone, because Kathleen Kennedy just butchered up these characters. You know, Dave Filoni is so meticulous with what he uses from the extended universe and what he uses from Legends, but he does it meticulously and he does it beautifully. Her bounty hunter arc, she does a 180. She goes on a mission where she has to deliver a package. It's almost like the transporter. Remember the transporter? They told him not to open the package, and he did. That was the thing. She opened up a package for, saw that was not a human being, but was a sentient being, and pretty much being trafficked. And she remembered what it was like to be treated as such. So she empathized with a young lady, Pluma, that was being forced to marry a man that she did not want to marry. It was horrible. They had her locked up chained up in a coffin, like not a coffin, but a box. And she said, you know what, this is wrong. So she saved Pluma, took her back. She got the money, and she made sure everyone got their share. Even Boba Fett, young Boba Fett was there. She traded the bodies out and put Boba in the case. And we all know Boba made it out. But the old Ventress would have killed everyone and kept all the money. But she made sure everybody got their share, including Boba. Now, our storyline continues in a book called Dark Disciple. which is a good book. And she actually dies in that book, but she comes back in a Bad Batch. But you know, she's a Night Sister. You know how the Night Sister met. Those who watch Star Wars realize how the Night Sister's magic works. And she meets up with the Bad Batch, and she befriends Omega. So, with this friendship with Omega, she totally dismantles the Bad Batch. She's a total bad bee. I mean, she just takes them apart. They're no match for her at all. She mopped them. Asajj Ventress has one of the most complete storylines in Star Wars. A great female warrior. She comes into her own gracefully. She's not a Mary Sue. Anybody that watches this and continues to watch this will know that I cannot stand a Mary Sue. Somebody that always wins. Somebody that, just always does the right things and everything. She's the exact opposite of that, which is why I like her. She's going to have a great deal. She's going to make a great deal, be a big deal in future to come, because she's not dead. She's a flawed character, which is the best kind of character. That is why I like her. She's one of my favorite characters. Also Ahsoka as well, which will be the next video, Ahsoka Tano. So please like, subscribe, and share, because we aim to bring you some of the best content out there.